So backlinks have always been key to driving SEO results, and it is one of the, if not the most important factor to increase your website authority and to provide a signal to Google that your site is trusted. How has it changed? It is as relevant as before, and in my view, it has become more relevant because the value of content on the other side is declining because AI is taking over content generation, and a lot of queries within Google search are answered directly through Google AI and AI overviews. So the one factor that is in a way not as easily replaced is link building. It's not easy to acquire links, so it is as relevant and will continue to be relevant. I think there is always a conflict between quality and quantity, what matters more. My philosophy and the philosophy of our agency is that quality matters more. So it's not about acquiring hundreds of links a month or even dozens. So a typical campaign in our case has maybe 15 or 20 links per month on quality sites. So I would say that's a good spot, between 10 and 20 a month. It's not about quantity, it's about handpicking good sites. And if you do that every month, let's say you do 15 links or 20 links every month, in a year you have built more than 200, and it quickly accumulates. And also what people might forget is that when you actively acquire 20 new mentions a month, that doesn't mean that's all you get. With 20 new mentions out there, the web will organically reward you with more. The more your site is featured, the more it gets attention, the more organic links it will also acquire. So it's a winning formula, and it's not about quantity at the end of the day. I think the most important thing we will need is what products and pages you care most about. So whether you're a service business or a product business, the business itself knows best what sells and what you want to push. So we would like to know the type of pages you care about the most. Everything else we can analyze. We can see search demand, we can see competition, we can see region-specific demand per country, for example, but we can't understand the ins and outs of a business. If we have that component covered, we've got a very good chance to make this campaign succeed. So we would be likely asking the client about key pages, key campaigns, key products to boost, and then shape the strategy around that. I think there is it's good to look at it from how soon results are possible. At the same time, it's also worth looking at what my mindset and timeline expectation should be. On the first one, results can be instant. So you could see maybe you're building a link, a quality link to a certain service page or product page, and within a few days you see some uptick in impressions because Google is typically quick to crawl the web, and it could be days timeline. Now, is that realistic? Probably not, because the SEO game is one long term, and you should give yourself at least 2 to 3 months to see meaningful growth. It's even better to look at SEO on an even more long-term time horizon. So that's why I say the expectation or the outlook should be within the range of 3 months onwards. Is a more realistic picture and one that keeps you keeps your own expectations in check. That would be the way to design a campaign and to stay focused and motivated to follow it through. So I think there's different ways you can invest in links. One is an obvious spammy way to do it. The other one is a careful way to do it. So the spammy way would be you build a too high number of links too quickly. That's a sign of spam. Another one is you use the same type of link anchor text all the time. Another one is you only build links to one type of target URL. It's all about patterns. And if the pattern is spammy and just doesn't make any natural sense, Google will surely find that. If, on the other hand, you don't build tons of links and you look at 10 to 20 links a month, and these links are carefully sourced and manually outreach to the website, it's a fairly safe way to do it. And it's also an essential way, and that's needed to grow your SEO results. So I would say it's all depends on how it's done, the intent, whether you do it in a way that is genuine. That way you are on a pretty safe side, and it's just the way how you approach it from an angle of active manipulation or careless spamming, or selectively choosing your few sites that you want to be featured on. So link building can be done in various different ways. Companies can do it themselves, or they can employ an agency. The key is it should be prioritized. So if you care about acquiring organic search traffic, you do require backlinks and also fresh links to indicate to Google this site is active in the web, it gets featured and mentioned time and again. Now, the benefit of an agency is that you have it taken care of. You have the stress taken off your shoulders and them being responsible to hit your targets. The trouble with backlink building is it's a very monotonous task, and it will easily be a full-time job, not just for one team member, but to multiple. So the benefit is you have it taken care of, you have your results hit, and you have a measurable ROI, so you know you're investing into something that has an ROI. Sure, you can do it in-house, but the benefit is specialization and things taken care of, and also the quality of links being taken care of. Yeah, that's a common misperception that people think our SEO works and we can now turn off this engine because we have hit our goals. It's definitely a big problem if a campaign is switched off. Also, if a link building campaign is switched off, because Google will understand who is the talk in current times, let's say. If a website is featured right today, that's a sign to Google they're featured right now. They're talked about right now. Not just with links, but also on user-generated content platforms, for example. So it helps in the current age of SEO to be featured on sites like Reddit, on Quora, social media, and also review sites. It's definitely a key factor that the links are recent and the engagement is recent. Otherwise, I can guarantee a site will likely drop. Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it. I would say in the early stages, or when you start a backlink campaign, the focus should be 100% for building authority and thereby assisting your site to grow in rankings. That's the one goal. And that's a perfectly sufficient goal. And I think that's how link building should be done. Now, yes, there is an additional benefit that you can get visibility, awareness beyond that. But I wouldn't advise it that you have to look into this when you're starting a campaign. I think it pays off to be single-minded to say, we want to grow our SEO results, we want to grow authority, that's why we're doing it. The other way to do it would then go more into the area of digital PR, which I think is a separate field on its own. Sometimes these benefits can be combined.